I think the biggest thing is everybody's just worried too much about stuff that doesn't matter. When you take all the worrying out of your life and then start focusing on the things that do matter 100% of the time, you literally 10x your life overnight.
Frickin' legend. CGTV, a show about our story and the people we share it with.
Number one, 0 to diamond, free coach. What else?
Baddest motherfucker on the planet.
What are you drinking?
Pierre, bro.
Oh, is that a
Sparkly
sponsorship?
water. Fancy.
Are you an influencer for them?
I am now.
Oh.
You're gonna go buy some?
So let's start off by saying, like, what's your story, man? I'm so curious about you. I found you on Instagram. Blake's been following you for a really long time. We just so happened to find you by ourselves, and then I was like, you got to follow this guy, Ricky Carruth, and he's like, dude, I sent that guy to you a year ago. I'm so curious, you know, your childhood, how you got into this. Everyone seems to get into real estate for different reasons. I'm so curious. You're probably the most positive guy in real estate I've ever met.
Let's see, man. Let's take it back. Childhood, you say. I've always been super ambitious. I always knew I was going to be right here where I'm at. I didn't know exactly how I was going to get there, what vehicle I was going to use, but I've just always been really ambitious. Anything I ever tried to do, I was really good at it. Like, not because I was talented, but because I would work at it consistently. I did a bunch of different things growing up, sports, art, music, work. I grew up roofing houses with my dad. That's what I did as a job as a teenager because he owned a roofing business. So like everything in my life is always, what's the next level? What's the next step? How can I conquer? How can I dominate? How can I be the best? And when I got out of high school, it was like college was the next thing, what you're supposed to do. So I'm going to go crush that. So I went to 4 different colleges in 2 years, failed a history class and a University of Alabama, and decided college was not for me. That wasn't going to be what got me where I wanted to go. So I found out real estate was one class, and I was like, bingo. So I jumped on that, and I've always been really good at not only being ambitious and figuring out what the next level is and then putting forth a lot of hard work behind it, but also figuring out what's most efficient, what can get me to the next level the quickest. And so that's basically like the story of my life, man, is just finding out how I can, be the best, the most efficient, the quickest. I'm going to outwork everybody. It's like I'm going to work smarter and harder all at once. And I got in real estate because I wanted to help people. That was my whole thing. But when I got in, the market was starting to heat up, and I kind of lost sight of that and it kind of shifted to just making money and doing deals because deals were just falling out of the sky. And that was eventually what took me out, that mentality. I made a meal before I was 23 and lost it all a couple years later in the crash, and it was literally because I was focused on the deals and the closings and the money, not the people and what I could do to help my clients through the crash. I had the mainstream mentality of when it crashes, you got to get out of the business and stuff. I didn't really understand how the whole game works. So that's really it in a nutshell.
So how do you get most of your business now?
Dude, like there's people everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly.
People want to make this so complicated. It's like, just go talk to people and see what you can do to help them. Tell them you're an agent. What can you do? What can I do to help you? I mean, it's really that simple. People want to pay hundreds of dollars for leads. These leads are random people in your market's contact information that these companies are just getting the contact information and then selling them to you for hundreds of dollars, saying that they're motivated hot leads when they're really just random people in your market. I mean, you could have met this person at the grocery store or, just as a, it's just crazy how complicated. And the whole reason behind why everybody thinks this business is so complicated is because all the people that are making money off of these situations are tricking us into thinking that it's so complicated because they're making so much money off of pushing the idea that it's so complicated when it's really so simple. You just talk to people in your market, see what you can do to help them, build your database. Like whoever talks to the most people with the best intentions and then builds a brand around that with those people forever wins, and it's really that simple. And there's so many different ways you can do it. You can cold call, you can meet people at grocery stores, you can, your Facebook, Instagram, like there's so many different vehicles to not only meet people and reach out and see what you can do to help them, but then also build brand with those people moving forward so they never forget you. Like that great conversation that you had with them and they love you so much. Well, now they're going to see a Facebook ad or an email or a text message or something from you forever consistently and never forget that great conversation you had. And when it comes time to buy or sell, who are they going to call?
Blake.
So it's interesting you bring up brand because I've been told a couple of different things about kind of where you got the start of all of this stuff, the YouTube and social media and everything like that. And I'm curious to know what your story or how you tell the story of like, what was that kind of pivot moment where it was like a light bulb of, oh, I should brand myself as a free real estate coach.
Oh, like you've heard rumors about how I became a free coach?
No, like I've been told, I think someone said that you went to Gary V's 4Ds program.
Oh, yeah.
And
no, I was free before that.
Okay. But
yeah,
like
I
the
went
branding
to
was there
4Ds,
like,
but that was long after I went free. Now I
I
did
see.
get the idea to go free from him, like watching him when he does, it actually sparked the idea. Okay. Like, so I never did social media at all until like January 2017. Not one single anything, nothing. So 2017 was the first year I did anything social media wise. I didn't even have an Instagram account. I had a YouTube account, but never posted anything. I posted a couple of videos about listings, but not coaching or anything like that. So I started, like, I wrote 2 books that year, and I was just trying to figure it all out. So I started out charging, and I would charge $20 a month, 150 up front, 20 a month, $1,000 one-time fee, $300 one-time fee, $299 one-time fee, $10 a month. I tried a bunch of different, business models to try to figure it out. I threw a lot of stuff out there trying to figure it all out. And I had 200 paying members. When I decided to go free, I was up to 200 paying members with about 10,000 a month coming in automatically. And it took me I came up with the idea, and then it took me maybe a month or two of really like mulling it over inside my head, not telling a single soul what I was thinking, because I was trying to figure out how crazy it really was or if it really worked. And, the more I thought about it, I was like, man, that's just the way to go. Because what would happen is 300 agents would sign up for my webinar, 100 would show up to it, and 1 would sign up. 1. So you got 300 people that need help, 100 that really wanted the help, and then only 1 signed up. So that happened a couple times. So I'm sitting here thinking, okay, and it's like, oh, well, you weren't doing the webinar right. Probably. That's probably the case too. But the bigger picture was, even if I did it right and got 20 people to sign up, there were still 300 that wanted some help and 100 that really wanted some help, and I'm still only getting 20. So really I'm getting like less than 10%, you know what I mean? And then out of that 10% of who pay, what if my program doesn't work for them? Now what are they going to do? They're going to turn around and hate. They're going to hate on my program because they paid for something that didn't work. So I was like, all right, well, look, let me flip this script. I'm gonna take, in that same scenario, instead of getting 20 people who may or may not like me at the end of this thing, why don't I create a situation where all 300 people love me till the day I die? See what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so what would I want more? I had to think about, what would I want more? 300 people that love me till the day I die because I helped them and they really succeeded and I gave them everything for free, or 20 people that might like me, not even love, like might like me, maybe, hopefully they like me. So, that's kind of the situation that I had in my mind. So I was like, okay, well, if I have 300 people that love me, what's going to happen? everybody's going to follow me on social media. Everybody's going to follow, subscribe to YouTube. They're going to be following every little thing because of how much I've done for them. Then what's going to happen? I'm going to speak at events and I'm going to have people banging the doors down to get in there because I've helped them so much. There's just a crowd of people who want to see me and take a picture and shake my hand and all that stuff. And that's what's been happening for the past year. Every time I go speak or go to an event or something, there's 100 people that want to get their picture and talk to me and all this stuff. That wouldn't have happened if I wasn't free.
Right.
So none of this would be happening right now. I probably wouldn't even be here talking to you guys.
Definitely not.
If I wasn't free. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so to take it just a step further before we get into something else, like when you're free, when you say free, it opens the door and the consumer says, okay, they're free. Let me try this out. I love free. I'm going to let my guard down for a minute.
Yep.
Then they get past that gate and then they get inside and now they determine, is he really free or not? Because a lot of people say they're free and then they charge on the back end. And so when you say you're free and then you really are free, then it goes to a whole nother level, but when you're free and then you try to charge, that's when you create a lot of negativity, I think, out there. And I think it's just the wrong business model. I think the way I do it's the way of the future. And I think I'm way ahead of the curve. Gary Vee was really the one that paved the way, that gave me the idea to really do it this way. But man, has it paid off.
Yeah. No, I think what's interesting about all of this from a free standpoint is that I think it builds trust. And my background, my mom's an agent. She's been an agent since I was 7. I'm 27, just turned 27. And I grew up around, client parties, and during the holidays, we'd go give coffee cakes to every one of her clients at every door. And she was never like a saleswoman. She was just like, everyone loved Louisa and everyone trusted her and everyone was excited to see her. She was just a nice person, and she still crushes it because it was never like a salesman thing. It was never a bait and switch. It was never a, snake oil type thing. It was like, oh no, that's just Louisa and we trust her, and she's good at what she does. So I think it's like taking that old school approach and then utilizing the new methods of distribution, but you're sending the same message. It's just, hey, you can trust me because I'm really not trying to do anything but help.
Yeah, exactly, man. That's it. And then, a lot of the people, that think the other way, they're like, yeah, right, Ricky, you got to be building this thing up and then you're going to charge at some point, right? I'm like, no, man. Like, the whole thing is, bro, is I'm making way more money. I'm almost making as much coaching as I am selling now, and that's what's very interesting, and it's way more scalable. So, who knows what the future holds.
So let me ask you this. How would you, young real estate guys like ourselves, we went into listing appointment on Friday, and the question always comes up, how much you charge? And I think we tried something new. I got it off your video, and I said, well, it depends how much you want to pay us. And it turned into this, like, these are the services we provide. This is, we help you move, and we have a 24/7 concierge and all that kind of stuff. But I'm curious from your perspective how you would go into those conversations when we're speaking to consumers, not other agents.
To be honest with you, man, the way that I feel about it,
yeah.
Whenever you start trying to sell it too hard,
yeah.
and say, oh, we got this, and we do that, and we do this, and we moved, and we got all this stuff. It's just like, man, okay, look, you can tell, like, for me, whenever they ask me what I charge, I'm like, oh, I charge 6%. And then I like keep the conversation. I make it like, most agents want to make it like a roadblock where they have to like figure out how to get around it.
Yeah.
And for me, it's not even a road bump. It's like, it just keeps going. Like, it's like, what do you charge? My tone of when I answer that question makes it sound like it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And like, what else we have to talk about here? Like that's actually like a mood point.
Yeah.
If they start digging, it's like, look, let's focus on what you're going to make out of this.
Yeah.
What do you want your take home to be? What do you want your net to be? Let's start talking about that, and then let's start reverse engineering based on what the market is, and let's try to get to let's get the numbers where they need to be. Hey, I'm negotiable. Like I negotiate on just about every deal. to be honest with you. They're probably half of them. I'm negotiating. I'm paying for inspection items. I'm throwing in a little bit. On just about half of them. Real estate's so lucrative. I mean, it just really is. It's just such a lucrative business. But we get paid. There's a reason why we get paid so much. There's a lot of liability. There's a lot of work that goes into it. But at the same time, man, there's so much margin there. I mean, if you quit thinking in such a conservative penny pinching way and start like think of those as investments back into your business, because when people see that you're willing to budge for them to make the deal happen, they love you so much more than if you try to hold firm on that $100 thing.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll take care. I'm not even worried about that. I'll take care of that for you as a closing gift. How about that? They're like, oh my God. And so they remember that. They come back to you. They refer people to you. Every client is worth 10 to 20 deals to me, right? Through repeat business, referrals, and referrals of referrals. And so and even from day one, I was cutting commissions. This is nothing that I'm doing now that I'm selling so much. This is how I got here. Like, it's an investment back into my business. Sure, I'm a heck of a negotiator too. Now, I will hold firm. I'll wait to the last minute. I will try to make it work where I don't have to cut. I'm really good at that. There's plenty of times where I probably should have cut earlier, and there's plenty of times where I probably could have cut, but I ended up not cutting at all because I'm such a good negotiator. And I know what people's motivations are, man. At the end of the day, that buyer wants to buy that property and that seller wants to sell. And, a lot of people bluff. They're just bluffing to try to see what the other party will do. And, you got more than two parties. You got the buyer, the seller, and the two agents involved, and a lot of people just try to play those four corners to see if they can get a little budge in there, to help their bottom line. And, after you've been in those situations so many different times, you kind of realize, what they want that property, they're going to pay that price. You try to play me for this $500 thing. I already know that you're going to pay this kind of deal. So, hey, it's fun. And I enjoy it, and I do the best I can for my clients, and I want to do everything to let them know I care about them, so, if I can do a deal, sometimes, hey, I've done deals for 1 to 2%, sometimes, pretty rarely. I just did one that was 1% not too long ago. I took it for 3.5, gave the other agent 2.5. I took one on this guy that has bought millions of dollars of property from me, and he lost money on the deal. So that's another thing you got to think about. He's losing money. It's like, I mean, I got a builder. I sell for. I represent him on everything he buys and sells and builds. And, I got on both sides of a deal for him. I did it for 3.5 because, he had to cut his price $20,000 to get the buyers to do the deal. But then I just closed on one a couple of days ago where I got the full commission because the buyers paid full price. So, you just do what you got to do to make everybody happy. But at the end of the day, man, if you're working and hustling, you're going to make yours.
I have a question going off of Cedric, and I'm going to ask this knowing that it's kind of a trigger point for you because I followed you for a long time to know. A lot of people, so we're in Newport Beach, California, right? It's arguably, in our opinion, probably, I don't know, top 5 most competitive and highest price market you can sell in. And people all the time, especially with your cold calling and even, some of the stuff you talk about, they're like, well, Rick, you're in Alabama. It's like, what do you, it's different there. And we're in, for us, we're in Newport Beach. And I would love to hear kind of what you think about, especially even our, dilemma with this listing. It's like, what do you think about the differences from market to market? I assume you probably think that there are no real differences and it's all relative, but I'd love to hear what you think.
No, there's huge differences in every market. Like, I couldn't come there and sell stuff, like I couldn't come there and buy anything or talk about it. I would have to go there and dive into the market head first for several months to kind of get the hang of what of the differences and kind of adapt, which it wouldn't take me long at all to adapt, but I would have to adapt. I mean, I don't know if you saw that live call session I did in, I think it was San Diego or something. I actually called
Yeah.
people in San Diego live
Yeah.
with this guy, with this agent that was in San Diego. And I was saying, I forget what I think I was saying, I was Ricky Carruth with that or I don't know what I was saying. Yeah, I was saying I was Ricky Carruth with his office, his company. And yeah, man, it was rough, but by the end of that session, you could tell that my voice had changed some and I was talking different. I was adapting. Like
Yeah.
within that hour, I'd already adapted a little bit. Um, but no, man, like it's definitely different everywhere you go. But here's the thing: that's universal. Relationships are universal. It doesn't matter where you are. People just want to know that you care about them. So the way they communicate that is probably different. The way business is done is probably different. The way people talk and act and the nuances and the contracts and the properties and everything, all that's different. But at the end of the day, if your intentions are to help people and to talk to the most people that you can more than anyone else, it doesn't really matter. Competition doesn't exist. Like competition, you can't talk to every single property owner in your area ever, and you'll just never get to the end of that, that rainbow. Like it'll never happen. So I don't care if 15 agents talk to the same person that hadn't talked to you yet. Like everybody has a different personality. So the way, like, they may not like any of the other agents. They talked to 10 of them yesterday. They talked to you. They're pissed off because they talked to 10. They don't like agents at all, but you come at them like a best friend, and all of a sudden something triggered, and now they just love you for some reason. They can't put their finger on it, but they just love you. And next thing you know, you're doing a deal with them. But you got people that sit around saying, "Oh, competition's so harsh, and you know, it's too competitive. I can't get in there." People that think like that are never going to succeed. You know, just not going to happen. You get like take all that out of the equation. Whoever talks to the most people with the best intentions wins.
What's your morning routine?
Mm.
I know you're pretty dialed in.
Yeah, I get up every day at 4:30. Answer those DMs for an hour. Go to the gym.
When do you go to
Get
sleep?
ready. I'm at the office by 8. Make a little list of priorities. Have a little meeting with my assistant, and then just straight crush it.
When do you go to sleep?
10. Yeah, 10 o'clock.
So what is that?
Huh?
How long is that of sleep?
About 7.5 hours.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good.
Pretty good. That's
Wow.
good.
Yeah, I sleep plenty. I sleep good. I don't have any problems with energy, or I'm not depriving myself of anything. This is like I finally found the perfect place as far as when to go to bed, when to wake up, to maximize my energy all day and get the most stuff done. Because answering all the DMs is a real situation, and but I got to answer them. See, speaking of Gary V, like I read something where he answered or replied to every tweet between like 2008 and 2012 or something like that. And it reminded me of myself because I answer every single DM. It's kind of like the same, characteristics there.
Yeah, well, and I can attest to that because I remember so I got my license in 2018, just at the end. So I haven't even been licensed a year. Hopefully no one's upset about that. But we're on our 5th deal together. Cedric's been in the business for much longer than I am, and we linked up, and we have our 5th deal in escrow together.
Fifth deal together, 14th, I think, this year.
Yeah.
And that was what I was going to ask you is we're at that point where it's like, okay, this is working. Like, how do we want to scale this thing? Do we want to bring someone else in? We just hired a cold caller. We want to bring some door knockers in. I just want to go on as many listing appointments as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And it's like everyone has a
Well,
different opinion.
I mean, I'm a single agent, so I probably am not the best one to ask for growing a team advice. I would probably steer you the other direction.
Well,
I'm a
I kind of want to go that other direction you're talking about, but I want to buid a structure around Blake and I, if that makes sense.
mm, I'm a big believer in the cold calling needs to be done by see the whole like Redfin,
Yeah.
like they have a person that handles each little part of the deal.
Yeah.
They got somebody, handling the incoming calls or whatever. Then they have somebody else that goes to the listing appointment. Then they have somebody else that does this part, transaction coordinator who handles the closing. Like there's a different person for each step of the way.
Yeah.
And if you look at their reviews, it's horrible. I mean,
Awful.
their customer reviews are just ridiculous. And it's what I've been doing from day one. I handle every single part of the process. I'm handling the first moment that they make contact with me or I make contact with them. I'm meeting with them. I'm handling every step of the way. They know that it's me the whole time. I don't have somebody I'm delegating a bunch of different crucial parts of the process out to. And I think that's huge. I think that's a reason why I have such a big business and so many people refer so many of their friends and family to me.
Yeah.
Because they know how I'm going to handle it. I'm going to handle it. They know I'm not delegating it to people who may or may not know exactly the best way to handle certain situations. They know I'm going to handle it. They know how I'm going to handle it. And they're comfortable sending people to me because they know how I'm going to do it. Whereas a big, huge team may not get the same retention of referrals because their experience was, this person handled this, then this person handled that. One person didn't handle one thing that great, and then So, and I mean, I'm pretty happy with my production. Like there's teams that do, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and gross millions and millions. So I'm definitely not doing the same numbers as a huge team can do. But I have built a business where I'm able to maintain it while doing podcasts like this and traveling to speak and building my coaching business, which I basically doubled my income with that. And it's going to completely explode over the next, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So I think I've done it a different way where I could still do it all on my own. I have a different train of thought when it comes to all that.
Yeah. So what does your assistant do for you then?
Oh, she handles like she puts properties in MLS. She schedules the pictures. She handles all the biggest thing is setting up all the showings for agents that want to see my properties.
Yeah.
That's the biggest part because we're in a vacation market, so there's a lot of short-term rentals that are people that are here for just a week or a weekend. And so we have to reach out to the rental companies, and they call the tenant, see if it's okay. They call us back, call the agent. There's a lot of moving parts for each showing. So her taking that job off my shoulders was the biggest thing. And then once I get a contract, she'll process it with my company. She'll order the title insurance and all the hook. She'll send it all to the title company, make sure all that's good. Things of that nature. But when it comes to the client part, like, anything during the deal that involves the client, like an inspection comes back, we need repairs, I'm talking to the client to negotiate that.
Right.
If a problem comes up with the appraisal, I'm calling the client to talk about if there's something client related, then I'm stepping in. If it's just processing stuff, then that's all her, But if anything that involves clients, then that's me. So, prospecting, listing appointments, showing property, negotiating, stuff of that nature. I'm involved 100% in that stuff, and that her taking all the processing stuff off of me allows me to just work on just client activities 100%.
Yeah.
So that's when I'm in the office and I'm doing real estate. It's all I'm on the phone the whole time, talking about deals that I'm either putting together or or deals that are put together, or you know what I mean, setting
Yeah.
up showings. I'm fixing to meet this person, or meetings and appointments and stuff like that.
So you're not getting bogged down in all the admin stuff. That makes
Do
sense.
what?
So you're not getting bogged down with all the admin stuff. And that's one of
Yeah,
our biggest
exactly.
issues that we have.
Exactly, man. I'll let her do all that, and I just do me. I just want to be in front of the people anyway, man. That's what gets me fired up. That's what keeps me like, you know, that's my high, is helping the people buy and sell properties and helping them through the process and all that. That's what keeps me energized, is that part of the business. You know, the admin stuff, I'm just not, that's boring to me. I want to be in front of the people, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you like prospecting because you understand that it's the gateway to the people.
Do what?
So do you enjoy prospecting
Oh
because you
yeah.
know
Yeah.
without
Yeah.
prospecting you can't be in front of anyone?
Yeah. The prospecting. Um, yeah, the prospecting, man, is where it's at. Like, if you don't have any business going on, um, I mean, like, if the market crashes tomorrow and my sales go down because of the market, then I just maintain the same level of activity and energy and motivation. I'm just directing it towards prospecting instead of going in and just slamming deals left and right. You know, like, my work ethic wouldn't change, my production wouldn't change, my effort wouldn't change, nothing would change. So it's such a cool business because, like, the market goes like this, and deals come and go, and your business fluctuates. But when it's down, it's like you just feel your effort level stays like this, though, because regardless of what the market's doing, you're either closing deals or calling and prospecting. You're closing or prospecting, and it's just so cool, man. Because closings will happen every day, regardless of what the market does. It's just so many people are worried about job security in this industry. Is robots going to take us over, or Amazon going to take us out, or Zillow going to replace us, and all this, and all that's impossible, number one. But number two, like, business is here forever. You know what I'm saying? Forever, every day, for the rest of our lives. Like, it'll never stop. So that, it took me a long time to realize all this, but I'm trying to really push it in everybody's head so that they can also, takes the pressure off, worry.
So for your scheduling, I'm trying to get as much out of this as I possibly can. Um, what do you think your time? Obviously, you do a lot more deals than we do. How much of your time is spent prospecting?
Well, it depends on what you call prospecting, because, at this point, I'm not really cold calling
Yeah.
anymore. I have such a big business. Like, I have so many people coming to me wanting to buy or sell stuff. It's hard to keep up. Like, my prospecting is really just follow up. It's
Right.
just a
Yeah.
constant. It's just a constant revelation of following up every day, that I never get to the end of the list. So tomorrow I'll get there, and I'm still working on that list of people that want to buy and sell stuff. I need to get back to voicemails, emails, text messages. It's just there's just so much. So, like I said, it would take having the market to crash to put me in a position where I'm now literally cold calling every day again. You know, if it crashed really hard and the market stopped on a dime, and people aren't just flowing in wanting to buy and sell stuff, then I would just turn around and spend that same time I'm spending now following up, prospecting, you know, which at that point, my prospecting would consist of calling past clients, because I got thousands of them. So I'd go through that list of people I hadn't talked to in years, say, how you doing? How's that property? The market crashed, what are you going to do? You going to buy, you going to sell, you going to hold? What can I help you do?
Yeah.
Probably catch up with them. I mean, it's endless, fellas. You can't get to the bottom of the barrel. I don't care how. It would be like you trying to drink the ocean. You're never going to get it. It's never going to happen.
Yeah.
So you would say that to anyone. So for instance, for me, I mean, Cedric and I are a team, and I personally, like, I'm at this one deal a month kind of thing. Basically, what we've been kind of averaging. here. I think we're about one deal a month. I am, at least, that I've getting paid on. And I want to go to, 2 or 3 deals a month. Obviously, I want to go to way more than that, but 2 or 3 deals a month would get me to the place where I wasn't ravenously texting every single person that has breathed real estate on me in the last 30 days to try to figure out how I can show them a property or how I can, you know what I mean? So you would say the difference between me doing 1 deal a month and me dealing more is just prospecting. It's just calling. It's just door knocking. It's just
I think what's holding you back from doing more deals per month is the exact reason. Um, let's see, how do I put this? Like you're texting and calling and stuff everybody that's breathed real estate to you, right? To try to get to more than 1 deal a month, right?
Yeah, whether it's like a Zillow lead or a door knocking
I
lead.
understand, but like everybody that's breathed real estate at you, you're just like constantly trying to
I'm
get
like,
them.
hey, happy birthday. Hey, how's
All that
this?
stuff,
Hey.
man. I understand. You're going after them hardcore and all that stuff. The exact thing that you're doing to try to get to a couple deals a month is the exact thing that's preventing you from getting to a couple deals a month.
In the way that instead of focusing on current leads, I should go get new leads. Got it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, dude, you're spending so much time trying to convert all these leads that will never do anything.
Right. Selling to the unsellable.
Yes, instead of spending that same time trying to find people that want to work with you today.
Right.
See, the whole thing is all you need really, man, is one conversation with these people. One conversation, see where their mind is, if there's a connection between you and them, what you can do to help them, why they want to do it, do they have an agent they're going to work with? One conversation. From there, it's like, okay, if they want to do something now, we feel a connection, they don't have an agent, let's create a game plan around what we're going to do to help them moving forward. But if not, let's let them just get our email every week or our text message every week or our Facebook ads or whatever it is. Let's just then quit focusing on them and let's just build our brand digitally with them. Let's just build our digital brand with them from there on. Never try to call them again, never try to text them, nothing. Let's let them come back to us in 2 years after they referred 3 people to us, and then we'll do the deal. Now we got 4 deals instead of 1, and we didn't even spend any time with them after that. We just put them in our little generic brand building machine, that whatever vehicle that we have. In the meantime, instead of trying to convert those people that aren't going to do anything for 2 years and probably won't do anything with us ever because we're hounding them, let's go spend our time on new people that might actually do something with us now or in the future and continue building that database. Then you'll get to the couple deals a year.
So that digital drip that you're doing, what programs do you use for that?
Well, it's not a drip. Okay, let's make that clear. Like, it's literally original content that I create every week, right? So I think drips and automatic campaigns and stuff have their place, but I think people are trying to overuse them in a way that makes them feel like they're just a generic realtor. Yeah. Whereas if you would create the original content every week, they're going to see you, they're going to value you way more than somebody who sent them a recipe on how to cook shrimp etouffee or what color to paint their walls in the fall to get the most money for their. I mean, it's crazy the information that some of these drip campaigns do and how these realtors are sending it out, and their brand is standing behind shrimp etouffee.
Right.
Yeah. It's insane. So like I build it with Constant Contacts. That's the system. I just plug my people in there. I go in there and I build the email every week. It's recent listings, recent sales, featured properties, restaurants of the month, listings of the month, events in the area, real information, what's pending right now, every property that's pending, boom, here's a list of everything pending in the area. Here's a few properties I sold lately. And I don't put all that in one email. I give them just 2 things this week, 2 things next week, because I know they're going to get an email for the rest of their life. I don't have to hit them up with everything today. I'm going to build brand as somebody who gives them the best information and saves them time, because I'm not writing a novel for them to read. They open it up and there's a couple click here's and a couple pictures. That's it. They understand when they opened up that email, it's going to be pleasing to the eye and they're going to be happy. They're going to be able to click on whatever information they want, as opposed to some of these people that are writing a dang novel in their email. Somebody opens that up, they're going to delete, block, Like, get out. I don't want everyone. And same thing with people who talk a lot. You're cold calling and you talk a lot. People are trying to get off the phone with you as quick as they can, and never hope you never try to call them again. Because you're spending too much time talking about things that don't matter. You know what I'm saying? They want people that are straight to the point, saving them time, whether it be a Facebook post that they're reading, a phone call, an email. I think people appreciate other salespeople in all industries who save them time.
Yep. Convenience is king.
So two things for me. How do we get involved in your program? I mean, I've talked to a lot of big realtors, and I would say, bar none, I'm most relating to you. It's real. A lot of the guys in our area, to be quite frank, are full of shit. And they don't want to help people because they're worried. I don't know whether it's for competition or what it is. And I know
They don't want to help people.
They don't want to.
Oh yeah, dude. Those kind of guys, they just don't understand the reality of abundance. They don't understand unlimited business. They don't understand. Those are the same guys that are spending $1 million a year on Zillow, thinking that is the entire market, when really they're getting so screwed because they're paying hundreds of dollars. I saw a screenshot of somebody who took a screenshot of another agent's like Zillow deal. It was like $41,000 they paid for 100 leads. I was like, these are people you could have met at Kroger. You know that, right? Like you literally could have met this person at the post office. You know that, right? Like you just paid $200 for somebody you could have met at Walmart. It's nuts. And like the system I use, RedX, 3 cents, less than 3 cents a contact for people that are in the exact subdivisions you want to sell in, the exact price range you want to sell in. Less than 3 cents, you get their contact information for a targeted person, as opposed to a couple $100 for some random person in your market. Same thing with Facebook leads. I mean, for real estate agents, Facebook leads are not efficient at all. They're horrible. Never do it, right? Because it's random people in your market's contact information. For even $3 is too much. $5, $10, $100 is too much. Facebook leads are great for other industries. There's a lot of industries. My coaching business, Facebook leads are great for the coaching business. I get them in, now I can work with them, I can send them my stuff, and it's great. But for real estate, it's not. For Facebook and social media, I just believe strongly that it's for building brand, and people are going to come to you through building your brand on social media, and you're going to get leads that way. I just, if I'm going to sit there and call somebody like a lead that comes in, I'd rather call somebody who owns a house that I want to sell, that already owns the property. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
How do you advertise open houses?
Great.
I don't hardly do any open houses. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would rather sit in a room and call people than sit at an open house and wait on buyers to walk in. Well, what do you tell your sellers, Ricky? I tell them I'm going to go to the office and call people until I sell their house. If you want Mr. Open House guy, then you might want to go, somebody who's just going to sit at a house and wait on people to show up. I'm probably not your guy. But if you want a worker, somebody's going to go back to the office right now and get on the phone and call hundreds of people to try to find a buyer for your house, then I'm your guy. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I'm just Mr. Phone Call guy. Nobody can beat that. Like there's nobody, I don't care what you say, you're going to do open houses or, well, you didn't have a pre-listing package, Ricky. Well, I'm not going to go back to the office and work on 10 more pre-listing packages to send more people. I'm going to go back and call people to try to find somebody who might actually be interested in your house. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So do you guys show a lot of the houses showed out there are through like lock boxes and Supras then?
Yeah, lock boxes and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was just thinking about like you and your never-ending list of follow-ups that you need to follow up with. Like, how do you vet and handle buyer leads and like showings and stuff like that? I mean, I
don't get any buyer leads, man.
Right.
Like I do not get Zillow leads, man. I'm not going to pay $100, $200 for a random person in my market's contact information. It's
No,
not
no, no.
going to
I'm
happen.
saying like if
So
someone, I'm saying like if one of your,
no, I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying is you're probably thinking I have tons of buyers, when really a lot of these people are sellers.
Right.
A lot of these buyers are thinking about doing something in like 5 months. Like, it's not all today.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I probably show property, I don't know, 2 or 3 or 4 times a month. You know what I mean? Something like that.
Wow.
Wow.
You know, on a really busy month, I might show property, 5 to 10 times, something like that. But it's nothing crazy. See, when you build your business focused on the most effective leads out there, which are property owners who own the type of property you want to sell, you don't get all this garbage.
Right.
You don't get all this, crazy, like everything's efficient. It's people that want to sell and then buy. It's people that know people that are just like them, that are high net worth people that want to buy. It's all, it just, your life becomes so much easier when you're taking off the cream of the crop, rather than down here at the bottom where you got the lowest quality leads for the highest price possible.
And that's what it is. I mean, that's literally what Zillow is the lowest
Period.
quality leads for the highest price.
They're not leads, bro. They're random people.
Well, no, but they are though. That's the thing. They literally say, they'll inquire, hey, they'll click on a property and be like, I want to see this property. And then I'll reach out to them and I'll show them a property and I'll show them 10, and it'll just be 1 in 100 of them actually do something.
The endless time suck.
It's a time
here's
suck.
the thing. The leads don't suck. Let me just throw that out there. They are people that are in your market.
Yeah.
And period, that's like what we want. The problem is they're too expensive. Number one.
They're like $400 for us,
as opposed to me targeting a subdivision.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how does Red-X get the data for that subdivision?
Good question.
They just have it. It's called GeoLead. You put the address of one of the houses in the search bar.
Yeah.
And then you tell it you want it to find like 50, 100, 200, 500 houses around that, in that subdivision or whatever, and one click, and boom.
Wow.
It just like appears in your little folder, and then you hit another button, it starts dialing them. It has a dialer.
And the quality of and then the dialer takes care of my question, which was the quality of the numbers, because if it's a bad number, it just keeps going.
It just cuts right through them, man.
Wow.
I mean, it's just incredible. Now, with any online, numbers you buy, you're going to have bad numbers, wrong numbers, and stuff like that, man. But I mean, if you can sit there and talk to 10 people an hour, you might have went through 50 numbers, but if you talk to 10 of them, that's 10 people.
Right.
That's 10 people that own the type of property you want to sell, that have a relationship with, that's going to do business with you now or later. It's insane.
For 3 cents instead of 400.
Have you started using text at all? I know. I mean, I've started actually texting our cold calling our lists of data, especially for our farm. I've started to either I'll call them first, and then if it's a voicemail, I'll text them.
I don't know anyone that's ever been fined at all, but like text messaging, I hear that's a thing. Like, I think you can get in trouble for that for sure. But yeah, as far as to answer your question, man, I'm actually working on a platform right now. I'm working on a deal to create like different packages for agents to do mass texting to their clients. So like, I do the weekly email. So I also think that, with the open rate of text messaging being so much higher, it's like 20 or 25% with email. It's like 90% with text.
Yeah.
So I'm putting together some packages. I've made a deal with a company just for real estate agents to set up really cheaply to be able to like mass text their database, these weekly emails, or if they get a new listing, or if there's something they just want their database to know about or whatever. I'm gonna go down that road, because I think text is the new email moving forward.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of on the front end of it for agents, and I'm pretty excited about it. So I'm still kind of working on that deal. But yeah, as far as individual texts, like people that don't answer my calls, I don't know. Yeah, because like text right now is like friends or family.
Right.
You got somebody you don't know texting you. That's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't know how I feel about that. Maybe later on when text becomes more mainstream for businesses and it becomes less intimate, then maybe that might be something.
Yeah, the reason I ask is because if you haven't got this already, I'm a pretty big Gary Vee fan. And I've gotten Cedric to come on board the Gary Vee train. I think he's about half 1 foot
I'm like
in.
in the caboose.
He's like
in the
1
back.
foot in, 1 foot out. But I just think the guy's an absolute genius. I actually don't even think he's a genius. I think he's just a hard worker, and he believes in what he believes in, and he executes. And he just does. He stops talking about it, just does. But the reason I bring up text is because he's like all in on text. That's like literally his opening line to his podcast is, I'm all in on text. And I think he uses My Text or something like that. It's a text platform. And
he uses Community.
Is it called Community? Okay. Yeah.
It's only for celebrities.
I see. Yeah. And so I had this idea. I was like, well, people open text a lot more. And we have these numbers that you can see if they're an iPhone or not because it's blue. So I was like, maybe I'll just start. And I sent videos. Hey, this is Blake. Like, if there's anything I can do for you, whatever. But I haven't been doing it long, obviously. I just interested to hear what you thought about it. But
I don't know. Try it out and see what happens. I'm all about trying things and seeing what works. So yeah, I mean, give it a whirl.
Well,
tax is going to be big moving forward. So
Yeah,
I'm putting the pieces in place so the agents can actually take advantage of it. So I'm pretty excited about that. What about TikTok?
We're on it. I mean, I created a CGRE is our company name on TikTok. I haven't been active on it. I can barely keep up with our CGRE handle and my personal handle on Instagram. It's just so hard to content's it's just like there's so much. It's like the dream is to have like some guy like D-Rock who just follows us around and because we're doing this, no one's taking a video of this for Instagram for us. It's like, who does that? You know what I mean? We're sitting here in a podcast. We would love if there was an assistant or one of our wives or someone that would just, hey, we're going to take a minute-long Instagram video on our phone. But it's like we go to a client party that we throw. We throw client parties for all of our buyers that buy. It's one of our like closing gifts, and I show up and I'm meeting everyone. No one's videotaping it. No one's capturing the content. And it's just so frustrating because there's so many opportunities that if I'm not videotaping, or we don't pay someone like $400 to come do the video that day, it doesn't get documented,
Well, I mean, as far as right now, you could actually set up a camera on a tripod like I have right now.
Yeah, which I have.
Just video yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're right.
Also, you could have hit the record on this Zoom call and had this footage where you could then chop it up.
Right.
You could zoom in on just you guys and go back to me and then you guys. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can do on your own without paying somebody.
Yeah.
Like I had a video guy following me around, but he's not with me any longer. And so I've just been doing it myself.
And then do you edit everything?
Edit, huh?
Oh, you were going to say you had an editor?
Well, I post every single thing and I respond. I'm the one commenting and replying and DMing and everything. And then I probably edit maybe half of my YouTube content. And then I have a company that edits the other half. I got a guy in LA that edits some for me. And between the three of us, LA, Canada, and me, we get the job done. So there's plenty of content. So, but yeah, it's definitely, it's been 2 years since I started all this. So it's come a long way, but I just want to continue getting better, keep getting better and better and better.
I think the answer is we need to get more organized and stop chasing all these buyer leads.
I think that, yeah.
Turn off all the, paid leads and, just focus on property owners. What you should do is like quit buying Zillow leads for $100 a piece, start buying Geo leads for 3 cents a piece and pretend like they're Zillow leads.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Call them up like they're Zillow leads. Hey, what can I do to help you kind of thing.
I saw a video you did last month and it was talking about the Zillow leads and literally we fired Zillow a week later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we broke it down, ended up being like 400 a lead, and we're like, what the hell are we doing?
Exactly, dude. For people you could have met at Kroger.
Yeah. Is Kroger a grocery store? I'm guessing.
Yeah. Well, the reason I say Kroger is because there's this guy in Mississippi. Yeah, it's a grocery store. There's this guy in Mississippi. He started following me. He's been in the business 1 year. He sold 106 properties, just geo leads and meeting people at Kroger.
Yeah.
That's it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why I keep saying Kroger, because that dude. Of course, he was an Ole Miss football player.
Yeah.
He was a receiver. He just graduated like just a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And he's an absolute animal.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Sky's the limit.
Well, I think we've
Taking up a lot of
taken
your time.
all
man.
your super valuable time. It's been incredible, especially to anyone listening. I mean, to us and to anyone listening, whether you're a realtor or not, because I think we talk about this all the time. The things that you need to be successful in anything, whether it's real estate or just life or just productivity. I mean, there's housewives and different people in the world that they don't even necessarily have a quote unquote job outside of the house. That productivity is still an enormous obstacle. It's like everyone needs to understand what the building blocks are to be truly productive and efficient with the time that we have, because we all have the same 24 hours, whether you're a real estate agent or not. And so I think everyone could definitely benefit from the things you had to say about that. And I know we definitely have and will. I mean, I've been trying to get up earlier, but I think this is super motivating to both of us to get things started earlier. But one thing that you want to just leave us with, and for anyone listening, what do you have the floor.
Well, I think the biggest thing is everybody's just worried too much about stuff that doesn't matter. You know, they're just worried about things that don't matter. When you take all the worrying out of your life, and then start focusing on the things that do matter 100% of the time, you literally 10x your life overnight, you know? And it's just so crazy the things people are worried about, worried about something that's going to happen that's probably not going to happen. And then it takes up all their energy, all their mental capacity is just focused on this thing that's probably never going to happen. You know, it's just nuts. And I just wish that everybody would quit worrying about everything. You know, the 5% of stuff you worry about that might happen, let's worry about it when it happens. And then take the time we would have spent worrying about it 100% of the time and focus on the things that matter. Like, who can we help next? You know, and how can we talk to more people? How can we be more efficient? How can we, do more, because like our success and our family depends on it. You know, our coworkers want to see us succeed. Our broker wants to see us succeed. Our family, our friends, everybody wants to see us succeed. So I think if you'll just take that one little piece out, the worrying part, and replace it with things that actually matter, like talking to people and seeing who you can help, and quit worrying so much about stuff that doesn't matter, I think that literally the world would be a better place.
Well said. Thanks, Ricky. Really appreciate it, man.
Hey, we'll do this again, and if you're ever in Orange County or even LA area, we can make the drive. So we'll take you out to lunch because I know that's your thing.
For sure. Enjoyed it, guys. Thank you so much.
All right, man.
See you, buddy.
Have a good day. Thanks for tuning in to another installment of CGTV. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and leave us a review on the Apple Podcast app. Until next time, follow us on Instagram at CGRE_OC for all things CGRE.